This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
Coach, spring ball now wrapped up. Your thoughts on the last couple of weeks and how it ended for you?
You know, like I told them today, it was for me, it was very enjoyable. You know, now your mind can lie to you. I'm big on believing. I know that, but it was probably, I can't remember a spring I enjoyed any more. Now, we're nowhere near where we need to be or where we want to be, but they were a joy to coach. Their attitudes were incredible. Their work ethic was really good every day. I can think of very few moments where I thought, you know, we're not giving effort. And I coached them hard, and they responded to it, and just trying to get them conditioned to chase a certain standard every single day. And so I'm pleased with a lot of things. Obviously, there's still tons of things we wish we were better at. But it starts with us getting deeper and getting some more bodies here, you know, for fall camp, which we'll do with the recruits that are not here will help us some, hopefully, if nothing else, for competitiveness. And but you know, I'm a glass half full guy, and I'm just encouraged, really just encouraged of the buy-in. You come in and you take over a program that was coached by one of the finest men in coaching, and Coach Gill. And you're never quite sure, because I'm probably a little bit different, and I'm more hands-on, I think. And sometimes kids don't quite know how to take it when the head coach is right on them as soon as the play's over, and trying to demand something and wanting answers. And but I really, you know, I think they received it well.
Speaking of receiving it well, we've talked to a number of the guys, and they keep saying it's a resounding sentiment. We want to be pushed like that. So when you hear that from the players, how does that make you feel?
Good that they're understanding kind of you know, the way it's going to be, and the fact that you know, I just told them out there, you know, ultimately this is not my team. It's not the coach's team. It's just really their team that represents Liberty University, and they can kind of decide. I don't know that I don't know that I've ever coached a team in 26 years that had 100% buy-in. I think that I'm a realist. I don't know that that's even a realistic goal. So what my goal always is to get so few that aren't bought in that their voice is insignificant. And I don't mean they're insignificant as people, but their voice is just insignificant because there's so many others that are bought in, and the weight that they carry is just, it's not anything to it. And so, but thus far, I think they are bought in. I think they understand the way we want to approach working, and getting in the weight room in June and July is going to be huge for them to get prepared for how we want to practice in fall camp. So Dom's got his. He'll have his work cut out for him to prepare them for that. We'll let them have a little break in May, and hopefully they finish academic strong, and then it'll be here before we know it. And the older I get, the faster time goes, it seems. So it'll be here fast.
As you stand here today, how do you feel about your offense and the installation and where you're at as you prepare for fall camp?
We've got enough in to win games. Now it becomes, do we have the understanding to know exactly what should happen post-snap with the ball? And we're still not there yet. But we got so much good tape that I think, you know, the film sessions we'll have in the summer that are allowed are going to be big. We'll cut it up where one is done correctly and then one is not, and make sure our kids are learning, you know, through film, even in the off season. So I'm happy. We don't have everything in, but we have enough in to win a game, if we can execute it.
Is there a position group that kind of stands out in your mind initially here, looking at the guys during spring ball?
I would have to say the O-line. I think that is the hardest position to fill on FBS rosters. I think there's probably only a few teams that really look at their O-line and say, man, we're too deep and we're better than most of the D-lines we play, and typically that's just not the case. For 90% of FBS, I don't care what conference you're in, just typically the D-line are tougher matchups for O-linemen. You may be happy with 3 of your O-linemen, and now you're trying to piece it together around those. But really, I think I've been really pleased with with the O-line. We came on it running back a little bit toward the end. Receiver, we were just so beat up, it's hard for me to get a good judge. Defensive line, we were thin, and we've got to get some bodies in there. We got 3 or 4, 5 that are signees that aren't here, so we need to get them here in a hurry. Linebackers were thin too. I think secondary's improved a lot, so I'd say secondary and O-line.
Mason Cunningham announced this morning he was intending to transfer. Did that come as a surprise to you, or had you had talks with him about what his future held?
Mason handled that like a true gentleman and young man should. Came and visited with me 2 days ago. I want our kids to be very transparent with me and candid, and I want to do the same for them. And I've gotten to an age where, you know, I'm for the kids, and I will speak what I think is the absolute truth to them. And so this young man has come to this university, and he's satisfied his academic requirements. That, to me, fulfills his obligation. And now it's about what is best for Mason. And I was very truthful with his fitting here and where that stood. And as much as I would love to have him on our team because he's such a heck of a young man, I want to support what he and his family think is best for him. And you know, he's got his degree and he's got 2 years left, and he wants to get on the field. I can't argue with that. You know, now if he didn't have his degree, I would argue with it. But he has it, and so we wish him the best, and I'm gonna help him any way I can get on somewhere.
You mentioned a lot about having that competition, extra guys to battle together. What does that do for your backup quarterback position? Because you were talking a lot about Bennett kind of, you know, getting pushed now and getting into that backup possible spot. You
know, I think JB took a step forward in the spring game. He looked good in yesterday's practice. Today, he made a few mental mistakes that we got to get cleaned up. But he definitely has put himself in a position. Landon had a couple good days this week too, as did Henry. And so, you know, and we've got a walk-on coming in that I think can throw it too. And you know, that battle will stay open. I mean, we've got 4 weeks of fall camp before we'll really decide, you know, kind of who 2 and 3 are, and it may be a 2A and a 2B, and one's a better thrower and one's a better runner, or those things.
What are some of the things these players can do so that way they stay mentally sharp now at the conclusion of the spring season, and that they keep their team chemistry going and that they stay focused academically?
We have accountability groups here, so that they're all in an accountability group made up of 10 people with a coach that's on their team also, and so they have we have a group text exchange between them, you know, daily as to what's going on with our academics, and so they got to finish strong there. Obviously, it starts there. The things I've seen destroy teams in the off season are academic issues and social choices that hurt the football team, and we just spent, you know, 5-10 minutes out there discussing those things, and that can happen, and we control those. So we're hopeful that the things that we say yes to really matter and are significant things. And then, you know, getting in the film room, studying what you did right, studying what you did wrong, before you get ready to get to work in camp.
Coach Johnson joining you from Indiana. I know he's a guy you've known for a long time, but what does his impact mean, or what type of impact could he bring to this team this year?
He's a great mentor, first to young men. You know, I think he models for young men the way you carry yourself, the passion to which you go about doing what you love to do. And I mean, no one's more passionate than he is on the field, and he'll demand, you know, he's been with me, and so he knows our stuff, and he knows the expectations I have for our coaches, and he's not surprised by any of the things that we say as standards and chasing them, and he chases them well.
How do you plan to enjoy the off season now that spring has concluded?
Golf. I'm just crazy about golf. I love competing at it. It's one of the few things I can't beat anybody in horse or anything anymore. Maybe horse. You know, I don't know if there's no dunking or jumping real high. If it's just a shooting contest, I could probably compete in that. I'm not going to chase little yellow balls in tennis. You know, I can ride a golf cart to my golf ball and hopefully hit it in the fairway. So I hope to play a lot of golf, really. And my family. We'll take some family trips, I'm sure.